This session is about introduction to the next round, which is group discussions and personal interviews. Okay. Now the B schools have evaluated you and your background when they've made you fill the B school application form. They've checked your managerial aptitude, which is the basic requirement in terms of analytical and logical reasoning, through the written test. And you are among the few shortlisted candidates from which some of them will go and start their academic career in the B school. So now that they've evaluated you on so many parameters in the application form, in the written test, why is it that they need to evaluate you further in the final round, which is essentially the personality assessment round? Now the written test tells about your capabilities, but the B school does not really know you one-on-one, does not really know you face-to-face. So group discussions and personal interviews give them an opportunity to meet you in person, give them an opportunity to understand your values, your personality, your character, the location you come from, your knowledge about yourself, your understanding about the overall environment in which you live, and finally make a good judgment of how you will turn out after 2 years of MBA. So essentially, the written test was the aptitude round, checking the overall aptitude that you bring forward, and the final round of selection is the attitude round or the personality round. So the B schools will test you through various tools and techniques that they have, be it group discussions and personal interviews in almost all B schools, or be it group interviews in a few B schools, or extempore management games, group activity in some other B schools. No matter what the evaluation technique used, essentially it brings out the kind of person and the personality that you are. Okay. Your resume will, in the interview and during the application process, whatever you put in will tell them about what have you done in the past. The interview and GD will tell them what you are at present, and the overall combination of these two will help them arrive at what are the likely outcomes of what you are for the future. What is a group discussion? A group discussion is a setting where anywhere between 4 to 15 students are made to sit. They are given a topic to discuss. It may be a one-line, one-sentence topic given, or a one-word topic given, or it may be a case study of a few lines or a few paragraphs. And the group as a whole is supposed to discuss on the topic. Now, the entire panel is evaluating you on various parameters, whether you are allowing others to speak, whether you yourself are speaking, whether you are listening carefully, whether you are able to comprehend what the other person is saying and add data to it. What is your depth of content? Are you coming out with some leadership qualities? Are you able to facilitate the discussion? So you, as a participant, will exhibit various roles in a GD. Suggest you look up the video on different roles in a GD to get an in-depth understanding of this. Coming back to the GD is usually in the form of a semicircle where all the students face the panelists. Sometimes in some GDs you sit in the form of a circle where it's a tight circle of around 8 to 10 students, and the panelists are sitting at different corners or at different places outside the circle and observing you. The content in the GD can be anywhere from ecology to economics, from the Americas to Amsterdam, from zoology to Zardari, from terrorism to telecom, and you are expected to speak on that. Which means you are expected to have a good breadth of knowledge on everything that is going around in the world. And when we say it's good breadth of knowledge, it means more than just reading the headlines and knowing what almost every other wannabe MBA knows. So it helps to have insights, it helps to have depth, it helps to come out with incisive and fantastic analysis of the topic under discussion. Which means content becomes very, very important in a GD. You need to be really armed with a lot of content to come and speak on whichever topic is given to you. Do remember that most of us consume the similar news channels. We read similar newspapers, we read similar periodicals, similar dailies. We essentially consume similar media. So if you are going to participate meaningfully in a discussion and want to stand out, it's essential that you go and move on beyond what most of the media dishes out and then try to go deeper and analyze a particular topic. This will help you in connecting unconnected topics. This will help you in bringing forth some lateral views in a particular GD and will also help you build up on other people's points. The personal interview involves one-on-one interaction where you will face a panel of anything between 2 to 4 people who will ask questions to you. Now let's take an example of a typical question asked of in the interview. Let's say they ask you a question and test you on your value system. The question could be, you have a colleague who is working with you for the last 6 months to 1 year. He has been reporting to you, but due to some circumstances you need to fire him. So how will you go about firing your junior or your colleague? So this brings forth your value systems, your personality and helps the interviewer evaluate the location you come from. Another question could be, tell us something about the US presidential elections. Now you may say the presidential elections happened in November 2008. There were 2 contending candidates, John McCain and Barack Obama, and there was a lot of speculation, and Barack Obama was a very young candidate, he was the first African American, and finally Barack Obama won. This is something that everybody knows. What is the insight or what is the depth of understanding that you bring to the discussion? You could have probably said that the US presidential elections has a history of selecting a president after every 4 years. No president runs for the post of the president for more than 2 terms. Barack Obama, John McCain and Hillary Clinton were the 3 main contenders. Finally, it was Barack Obama versus John McCain. Before it was Barack Obama versus John McCain, the US registered voters would go and select their presidential candidate nominee. After that is done, and when there are 2 clear candidates, one from the Democrats, one from the Republican, then they go about, all the registered and unregistered voters, after the primaries, go about and then select the final presidential. Now, if you have some kind of data like this, and of course a lot more data than this, you will stand out. Your answer will stand out. The interviewer will know that you are a person who is well-read, well-informed. Probably the meaning making is, as a manager, when you go and perform in a company after your MBA, you will also be well-read, well-informed, which will make your decisions much more stable. If you are a history major, the question could be, tell us something about the Mansabdari system during the time of King Akbar. If you are a mechanical engineering major, or your undergraduation has been in mechanical engineering, you may have questions on, tell us how the diesel engine of a car operates. Now, whichever your field of specialization, whatever you do, a personal interview helps assess your overall personality in a one-on-one setup to the panelists. Now we know that group discussions and personal interviews are definitely not foolproof. You include group interviews, extempore, they are definitely not foolproof. But out of all the techniques and tools available to gauge a candidate's suitability for a management course, group discussion and personal interview give the best output in the given time span with the resource that we have in terms of panelists and in terms of number of students. So most of the B schools have successfully used GDs and PIs as an evaluation tool. Not 100%, not foolproof, but effective.